Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the end of Season 7 tier list. Oh my goodness, we're finally here after a long-fought season. I sit next to a beautiful new champion here, and we are here to discuss today what's changed in the club's mindsets about our tier list. We've come a long way from Season 6 and even before that, and I'm going to toss it over to Tyler here to break down what to expect from this video.
So, the tier list that we're going to be discussing today is an averaged out tier list of all 16 players that you saw in the playoffs, as well as Michael, and a averaged together patron tier list made up of all of our patron submitted tier lists that you were able to do if you became a Bowser tier higher patron. Yeah. So if this is something that sounds cool to you next season, go right ahead. If any of that sounds like something you'd want to see individually, at the end of this video is going to be probably about a minute and a half where everyone's individual tier list just flashes on the screen for a second. You can pause, look over, and say what you think. But without further ado, let's get in to this season's tier list. Coming in at number 32, to no one's surprise, right where he was last season, Baby Luigi. This character is absolute garbage. His only redeeming qualities are that he is kind of fast and he has a wall jump, but he is too small for any of that to matter. And on the plate, he cannot do anything.
Yeah.
There's not much else to say about a character like Baby Luigi. There's a little bit more to say about number 31, Paragoomba, who moved down 3 spots, by the way, from our last tier list. Paragoomba plays a fine corner bases. That first and third with super jump is not bad, but his bat leaves a lot to desire. His charge hit's not good. His slap hit's not good. His speed is not bad, but there's other characters who just outclass him in pretty much every way. So you should not be picking this guy at all.
Yeah, his only redeeming factors are he has 7 speed and I think a 7 power throwing arm. So that's pretty good overall, but that's about it.
And Bowser Chem.
And Bowser Chem, yeah.
So coming in at number 30, we've got Koopa. Troopa actually moved up 1 spot previously, being 31. I think he's okay. He's I think he can move up a little more. He's got Bowser Chem, which is good. Sliding catch isn't bad. It's just that his slap hit is pretty weak. So it often doesn't leave the infield, but he has some potential, I'd say. A big problem for him is he doesn't really have a place in the field, I think.
He moved up 1 spot last year's tier list as well, so we're only about 30 seasons away from him taking the top spot.
Let's go.
Redeeming quality, Bowser Chem.
Yeah.
Yep. Once again.
And moving in at number 29, moving back 2 spots, is Monty Mole.
Sorry, guys.
The only redeeming quality of this character is Baldash. And that really doesn't do too much.
Oh.
The slap hit isn't the worst in the world, but it's probably like in the bottom 5 worst in the world.
yeah.
There's just characters who like easily replace what Monty does and then adds about 100 times more stuff. You're going to notice that trend with the next few characters. They're just like pretty much unpickable in most scenarios.
For sure.
Coming in at number 28 is Baby Mario. Baby Mario moved up 2 spots. This guy is basically just Baby Luigi, except he can hit. And that is enough to put him 4 spots ahead of Baby Luigi.
Yeah, you know, Baby Mario has actually impressed us quite a bit. We don't play with him in season too much, but during streams a lot, he will see play because the people watching the streams get to pick our characters sometimes, and they like to pick bad characters for us. But out of the bad characters, he definitely has a strong slap hit. And wall jump is never a bad thing to have in your right field, and he plays right field pretty well.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing holding this character back is his size. He's very, very small, smallest character in the game with Baby Luigi. So a lot of balls that would just be fielded by other characters can easily, either you can overrun them, he can just like not get them because he's not big enough, or they'll even bounce over his head, which I think is not great. I do think he has potential to maybe move up a little bit, but at the moment, I think this is where he belongs.
Yeah, I think of the characters with 7 speed, Baby Mario has the best bat behind Yoshi, but there's just more replaceable characters than Baby Mario at this point.
All right, coming in at number 27 is your boy Shy Guy. Nobody knows what color to pick for Shy Guy because nobody picks Shy Guy because nobody should pick Shy Guy.
Yep.
His bat is okay. Birdo Chem makes him a decent first baseman. He has sliding catch, but besides that, he just doesn't do enough for a team. He Some people like to pretend he can pitch. He can't. So this is
Mercy to 2 people with Shy Guy pitcher. That
This
star
is-
pitch is nasty.
this is pretty much where Shy Guy should lie. A star pitch should not determine whether a character is good or not.
Just saying it's nasty.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this character. He's just not good.
Birdo Chem, so you get that shortstop to first,
Yeah.
and an okay singles bat. Outside of that, not much.
And so that's the last character in our Mario tier. Now moving up to the non-meta tier, we have Toad. Toad moved down 3 spots, and I think that's pretty appropriate. I don't think Toad could have been further for sure. I don't think he really has a place. He's pretty fast, which is all right. His singles bat's all right, but he doesn't have a relevant fielding ability because he has body check, which is just in in base running, and I don't think he really brings any value in the field. So I don't think there's a reason to pick him.
Sorry, Gil. Only you can hit home runs with him.
Yeah, Toad brings something very unique to the table, some Princess Peach Chem. But if you're building your team around Princess Peach Chem, you should be playing Mario Super Sluggers, not this game.
That's a good point.
Definitely just not a good character, not one you should pick unless your name is Matthew Gill.
Yeah.
And there he will remain.
Moving down 1 spot at the 25 spot is Peach.
What's up, Tyler?
Jeez, Den, brutal.
Damn, he has not. You're supposed to say positives or negatives. He's just remaining silent. I think
She's your girl.
I mean, sure, she is. I guess I'll take it. Sure, she moved down a spot. One of the best pitchers in the game with nothing to boot on the end of that. So if you don't mind a dead position in your lineup, outside of, I mean, like if she's your captain, she's got a star hit that guarantees get out of the infield, could be used as a sac fly. Kind of good on the infield, but again, like if you're taking her, she's probably pitching. Like it ain't that.
Yeah.
The squeeze ain't worth the juice. The juice ain't worth the squeeze.
And that's
She's a peach. Get it?
And that shows a lot actually about this game, whereas I've been seeing a lot of the Mario Super Sluggers tier lists. Pitching is one of the most important things in that game. Pitching's important in this game, but you can see a very high up pitcher like Peach this low in the meta just because the bats in this game are definitely the most important thing, and her bat just doesn't do much. Her star hit is so easy to field.
So bad.
And just beyond that, like her singles bat doesn't do much. Her charge swing is not good. So yeah, I think she will stay at this spot or around this range for quite some time.
Yeah, I think she's actually worse than this. I don't think she's a good pitcher, honestly. She pitches too fast, in my opinion, to be worth it. She has her control versus speed is just not good enough. And I mean, in the lineup, she's an absolute like detriment to your lineup. So definitely not a good character, in my opinion. Sorry, guys.
Coming in at number 24, a man who's moved down 2 spots is Bowser Jr. Now, this is interesting because at the very tail end of the season, I noticed some people were actually starting to be like, maybe Bowser Jr.'s got something to offer. And that was because Cokes joined the club.
Yeah.
And he plays a version of Mario Baseball where he must captain Bowser Jr. every time with his friends. And thus we got some new tech. But we know he's got body check, which is one of the worst abilities in the game. He's got wall jump, one of the best abilities in the game.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good star hit and a adequate slap hit if you know what to do with it. And he can hit home runs, but probably won't. So it's like, he's got, I feel like he's got a higher ceiling than what we currently have him, but we haven't seen him do any of that attic activity yet to reach the higher ceiling.
Yeah, to add to that, Bowser Jr. has one of the best chem trees in the game.
Absolutely.
Bowser, Bro, Magikoopa,
Yeah, it's insane.
which is ridiculous. And most of those characters can find themselves playing first. So a Bowser Jr. in right field to one of those characters on first base, in the right scenario, can throw certain characters out. As long as Bowser Jr. doesn't have to wind up, he can throw Toadsworth out at first. I'm almost positive. I've seen
yeah.
it.
I've seen him almost throw out Mario.
And that's a very
like,
relevant thing to be doing.
Yeah.
But besides that, yeah, Tyler pretty much covered all of it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I think he moved down, which is funny enough, as you said, but I think he'll probably be on his way up going forward.
On the way up.
All right, moving on to number 23. That's your boy Goomba. He has moved down 3 spots since the last tier list. I don't like Goomba. You guys can vouch for him all you want at the table. You can vouch for him in the comments. I've never been into this character at all. He's a Monty, but a little better. People say he can pitch, and I've definitely lost games to a Goomba pitcher because his release is tricky. But honestly, once you learn Goomba's 2 or 3 trick pitches, you don't have to swing at the balls that he's throwing because he throws some whack balls. but you don't have to swing. And then after that, your opponent's just like, okay, I have this dead or just bad batter. He doesn't have a good bat. I've seen like him hit fine singles, but besides that, and outside of the pitching mound, he doesn't have a great position. You never want to play a ball dasher on catcher because they'll never make it to second base before any character stealing. On first base, he's serviceable because he has like pseudo super jump, so he can kind of get up.
Yep.
And like, honestly, first base might be his best position, but besides that, I don't think Goomba's in the realm of pickable. He's a little too high up even for me right now.
Yeah, I agree. He can pitch pretty well. He can kind of hit, but that's about it.
I think Goomba with having Bowser Chem is a plus. I also think that Goomba is the best pitcher at pitching to contact because you can really jam hitters and initiate double plays and have heavies maybe miss time and push that ball to left field, which is always what you want when there's a heavy hitter up. But I think this is a really good spot for Goomba where he is in this list.
All right, so moving on to, I believe this is number 22, we've got Dixie Kong. I think Dixie Kong's a little better than this, personally. She is one of the best pitchers in the game. She's kind of just rivaled by Diddy and Boo, in my opinion. And her slap hit's actually pretty good. It'll hit it to left field, so she kind of gets the ball out of the realm of that right field, kind of throw you out at first, if that's even something you could worry about. Plus, it is good for avoiding double plays, and she's going to hit it not towards second base, but towards third base, and it's a little bit of a better spot. Her pitching's very good. She doesn't bobble often. I just think she's kind of outclassed by other characters, and that's why she's kind of down here. While if, say, Diddy Kong didn't exist, she'd probably be in his spot.
Damned if you are the third best pitcher in the game, because you only need 2.
That's pretty much, yeah.
DK Chem is fantastic, and like Joey said before, Diddy's just a better pitcher, and Diddy also offers a star hit, which she doesn't. And so while even though her bat is better, third best pitcher in the game, down here.
She's also slower than Diddy, so
She suffers from the same exact issue that Peach suffers from, which is, why would I take this character when there is a character that is exactly the same but better?
Yeah.
I think one last thing I want to talk about with Dixie Kong, and this actually comes up for quite a few other hitters. It is so hard to have a Dixie Kong on a team facing Birdo, because Birdo on shortstop destroys Dixie Kong. You go from like probably a 45% chance of getting through that gap to probably a like 10-15. Because that is the line that Dixie Kong likes to hit it on. And if your opponent's Birdo activates, they're going to catch the ball. She doesn't hit it high enough where it can go over. So if your opponent gets Birdo on shortstop, if you don't just tow it between that shortstop and third base where it gets kind of muddy, it's going to be caught.
Moving up 8 spots on the tier list, Joey's girl, Toadette. 9 speed, one of the biggest characters in this game, and I have nothing positive or negative to say.
I'm so glad we invited Dennis to do this. So I'll say some negative stuff and some positive stuff. Toadette is not outclassed by anyone except maybe Mario in right field. She's literally one of the best right fielders in the game. That's awesome. She's a great outfielder. She got sliding catch. She got 9 speed. But with that comes one of the worst bats in the game, and as a result, I will never pick her if I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, having wall jump is mostly relevant in right field, so she plays that right field. It's a lot harder for a character like Toadsworth to get hits because he hits to right field pretty often, and quite a few other characters. We see probably about 30% of home runs snagged nowadays, now that people are getting pretty good at wall jumping, and people picking Toadette and putting her in right field are a big part of that. She has sliding catch and wall jump, the only non-captain character to have 2 abilities. So she's technically still playable, and you can definitely take her like 8th, 9th pick. We're getting into the realm of characters being like, okay, like they could be on your team and I'm not going to yell at you too much.
For sure.
But Joey, I'll lend it to you, brother.
What's that realm called, Joey?
So I have some good things, some bad things to say. I think Toadette is the only character in the game that can play every outfield position at the highest level. Yoshi suffers in right field, but he plays center and left obviously better. But her biggest detriment is her bat, but she does have that 9 speed. So even if she does hit a lot of things on the ground, she tends to beat out a lot of the throws to the left side of the field, or a lot of the hits to the left side of the field, because she's so fast. So that's always, it's like, it's not redeeming, but it definitely makes it better than a character who can't hit and also isn't that fast. And then, I mean, in the field, she's just a menace. So, you know, I think she's going up still.
Now we're going to move into the borderline meta. This is the biggest difference between this season's tier list and last season's tier list, and it's probably what we're going to be doing going forward. We used to call the top 18 just the meta, but we've realized that it's really more like the top 14 is the meta, and then you have all these flex picks that some people like more than others. That is what this tier is. Some people are comfortable with these characters and they have no issue filling out a team. So coming in at number 20, the lowest of those is Waluigi, who moved up 5 spots
Let's go.
from last season. And he was the character with the biggest difference in spots, with the highest person willing to put him at 11 and the lowest person putting him at 29.
That's
a
insane.
Those are
little-
both horrible placements.
Horrible.
little bit of a
Damn
little
it.
bit of turbulence with Waluigi. But let's talk about what this character has to offer. He is one of your best picks for first and third,
Yeah.
with having a big old body, a big old jump, and a big old laser throw. That's one of the best things you can get. He's a very fine like backup pitcher. He's kind of not as good as some of the other characters, but like, you know, if your Diddy Kong or your Boo gets tired and you got Waluigi, you can bring him in. And his slap hit isn't great, but there are some people in the club that can make it work. But what no one can make work is his abysmal star hit.
Terrible.
It's terrible.
The worst in the game.
Yeah, in season 5, I had this crazy hitting streak with Waluigi where everyone was just like, what is going on? What are you doing that I'm not? And then in season 6, people were like, I figured out how to pitch to your Waluigi. He's gonna suck now. And I stopped picking him for a while. But I picked him up again. A few other people started picking him up, Spencer and a few others. And people noticed that his singles bat is pretty good. And his charge swing is not bad either. Sometimes it lands between first base and right field, or same from the other side, where even a Yoshi can't get it. So I definitely respect this character a lot. I don't think he should be on the pitcher's mound, but not only does he play those corner bases really well, he has laser, and he makes Wario on second base even more viable,
Yep.
and makes it so he could even maybe play shortstop because it makes his arm with the chemistry stronger.
I believe he also has chemistry with Magikarpa.
Has laser, but one of the worst arms of laser, but
Yeah.
still laser's great regardless.
Laser nonetheless.
All right, moving to number 19. It is Luigi. I think that they took a Mario and just made all of his numbers worse. He has super jump and wall jump, which is relevant. You know, he plays corner bases quite well. He plays that right field quite well, but his bat just lofts it a little bit too much where it oftentimes gets caught by the right or left fielders. Every once in a while, he could hit one right on the line on right field. That's really good. But besides that, I don't think this character adds much to your team at all.
Agreed. I think he belongs a little lower personally because he doesn't do anything that a better character can't do. His star hit is basically a glorified sack bunt, which is usually not worth 2 stars when you can literally just do a sack bunt. So yeah, I don't know. This character, he does nothing for me personally.
Yeah, just the worst Mario. I think the hot tech is to make them bat the exact same left or right-handed, whichever you prefer, just so you can kind of replicate the swing on the same side of the play because one is lefty, one is righty.
Yeah.
But Luigi's right where he should be.
Yeah, super jump is the only unique thing he brings over Mario, which is like I think a downgrade from sliding catch.
For sure.
But and you know, it's these small differences between him that earned him the one spot down movement he got.
All right, coming in at number 18, we've got Daisy. She's moved down 3 spots, which I think is pretty fair. I think she's around where she belongs. She doesn't really have too much of a place in the field, in my opinion. She's not a bad pitcher. She's got a decent slap hit. Her star hit used to be pretty good, but I think now it's kind of trended down where everyone's starting to catch it. But it is basically a guaranteed sack fly, which is, you know, it has its uses. So I do think while she does a lot of things all right, she doesn't really excel at anything, and that really holds her back because a lot of the characters higher up are kind of broken.
I think she's an emergency middle infielder because she does have sliding catch and quick throw.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I think she's right where she should be.
Yeah, I think Daisy's pretty good. I love pitching with her, but again, that issue just comes up of if you're not using Boo and you're not using Diddy, everyone's kind of a comfort pick at that point. So to say they're objectively great is kind of just rough.
Mm-hmm.
Our pitch, I guess, but even then, Diddy's got one.
And moving up 4 spots is Diddy. We saw this because of Diddy pitcher. I think objectively, the first or second best pitcher in this game, and has a star hit, has a really good bunt. I love Diddy.
Agreed.
Yeah, Diddy's pretty good. And if like you're not pitching with him, he plays the outfield pretty well with those glue hands. He's pretty quick. Only like kind of stinker thing about him is like his bat, if you're not bunting, is like it's same as Dixie's, like it gets negated by a birdo, otherwise it goes through. And his other ability is clamber, which is just hot trash.
Right. Diddy Kong belongs lower on this list, although he's a good pitcher. He has that good sack bunt. He has the great star hit. Diddy has a lot of prerequisites to be on your team, and one of those is having Yoshi on your team. If you want to captain Diddy Kong, which is the best way to use Diddy Kong, if you don't have Yoshi on your team, the banana ball is not landing because it stays up in the air way too long. It lets your opponent's fielders adjust way more, and they're much more likely to catch it with Yoshi. Still, he's a good character, one of the best pitchers in the game, top 2, as they say. So he's definitely gonna see almost every game, but just like at those like 8th, 9th picks.
Yeah, I honestly disagree. I think you can easily pick Diddy without making your captain and ignoring the Yoshi thing altogether. I think he can still bunt and he can still get a slap hit here and there. And his pitching is just, I believe it's unrivaled. I think he's better than Boo. Boo's a better character, but I think pitching, for sure, Diddy's the best.
Coming in at number 16, we got the Pink Menace himself, Pianta. Pianta's in the exact same place he was last tier list, and it's still right where I think he belongs. He is what people call him the secret 6th home run hitter, because by God, is he nowhere near as good as the 5 above him, but he hits more home runs than the 2 heavies below him. But on top of that, he's a great infielder. He's got laser, so you put him on second or shortstop. His charge hit, when it doesn't go over the fence, sometimes gets you a nice line drive. And he's got a pretty big dive range. He doesn't have sliding catch, but he's one of those characters that, like, if they put sparkles on him, you might not notice he doesn't have sliding catch.
Yeah, I think this is important to pass over to Dennis because he's the one who cracked this code. So go ahead, Den.
If there's one thing that I'm really happy about with playing Mario Superstar Baseball, it is the Pink Menace resurgence, making him lefty and just having that nice low line drive trajectory, potential home runs. He's a great character with laser, and like everything Tyler said, I'm just really happy to say that PM is borderline meta, but we do see PM picked almost every single game, and I think 16 is a really good spot for him. I think maybe he could go a little bit higher, but that low line drive, that home run potential, the laser, no sliding catch, but a nice dive. He's great.
Yeah, one last thing about PM. I think if your opponent has DK, he's like a must pick. I think you need to have a laser middle infielder, and if you don't have DK, you need PM.
Yeah, keep your eye on laser characters because we are coming to the conclusion that laser is probably the best ability in this game. Maybe besides like a wall jump, sliding catch, like all 3 of those are really great.
On its worst day, it's like the 2nd best ability in the game.
Like,
so it's good.
Like as our meta and as our playing gets more homogenized and as everybody gets better and better and is catching each other, laser is what is preventing runs that can let people get away with games. So keep your eye out on every single character with laser, unless they're number 1, in which they can't go any higher. Coming in at number 15 is your girl, Green Gnocchi, Minty Gnocchi. She moved down 3 spots from our last tier list, which everybody expected because we found Green Gnocchi towards the end of last season, I believe, and everybody just got so high on her horse. But I think this is about where she belongs. She definitely has the worst star hit out of all of the star hitters. She has sliding catch, but she's a little bit small, so she's not perfect in those middle infielder positions. Chemistry with only Pianta doesn't do too much for her, but she's not a bad character. She can play the outfield just fine, infield just fine. She has a star hit.
Yeah, I think a lot of her value is in the Pink Menace chem because it basically allows him to become more of a home run hitter, which is always good, which plays a solid outfield. That's about it. Sliding catch is good.
She's a really solid outfielder. I think the reason we are seeing her move down where she did is because we have seen wall jump and super jump be more of a thing that has been valued with Paratroopa at the corner bases or with a right field wall jumper. And she doesn't really have either of that. So I think 15 is a really good spot, but she does have a star hit. So
yeah, I think the top of the borderline meta is actually like a perfect home for her because there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There are 3 other star hitters in the game, 4 if you count Toadsworth. So there are going to be some times where you're looking at your team and you're like, dang, I already got 3. I don't need one. And that is the one. Gnocchi is the one that you would give up every time. The top of borderlines where she belongs. Before we move on to the low meta, the guaranteed meta characters, it is worth noting that Gnocchi and the 14th character in the game, which Joey's going to talk about in a second, Mario, had such a close tie to the 9th decimal place that I had to drop not the top and lowest spot they were placed, not the 2 highest and lowest, but the top 3 and bottom 3 rankings each of them had to have Mario ever slightly knock Gnocchi down into the borderline meta in like the craziest tie I've ever seen in my years of doing these tier lists.
Yeah, and I think that was the right outcome. I do think Mario is just better than Gnocchi. I think he belongs in this low meta position. Mario in the 14th spot. He moved down 1 from last season. I don't think he's in a bad spot. I think he could potentially move back up. His star hit is kind of starting to get more attention. We never forgot about it, but I think lately people have been kind of up on it. He's arguably the best right fielder in the game. I personally like Toadette more, but there's easy arguments for Mario, no doubt, just because he's a better character overall. And he's got a great slap hit. So I think he's a great all-arounder. That's what Mario does. That's what he's always done in every game. And I think he does it here. And he's a great pick always.
Yeah. I think that the star hit is worth 2 stars at times. And I think, like Joey said, he can maybe move up even a spot, but this is a really good spot for him. And wall jump is great.
Yeah, Mario rocks. I think he should be a little higher, but everything they said is perfect.
Yeah, I think he will flex between the 14 and 13 slot for the rest of this game's lifespan.
Time.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, the game's not going away.
Right.
Moving down 2 spots to spot 13 is Wario. One of the best middle infielders in this game, has a decent 2-star star hit if he's not your captain.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't have laser. So I think that's why we've seen him move down.
Yeah, we have since discovered, though, he's got a pretty good slap hit. Ever since we discovered Wahogany, everyone's been like swinging for the fences with him, being like, I'm going to hit that home run. But Nick has been like, why is everyone doing that? I'm going to just hit a great hit right over the second baseman and get a single. And on top of that, it's got some good chem, got that good star hit. 13's a good spot for him.
Yeah, one of the other characters with a really strong chemistry tree in the game. And like Tyler was just saying, that singles bat, yeah, take it into the lab for a minute. It's really, really good. It has that trajectory that just gets over the infield and just lands before the outfield.
Yeah, his range at second base is phenomenal. It's pretty much unrivaled by any character other than Yoshi. So his biggest detriment, in my opinion, is not having laser. And I think that's a pretty big issue nowadays.
Coming in at number 12 is Paratroopa. He's moved up 2 spots since last season's tier list. And this little man can do a little bit of everything. He's got super jump, which makes him a good corner base guy. He's got super jump, which makes him a good outfield guy. He is not very quick, and his dive is poopy pants. But he's got a strong arm to make up for the poopy pants speed and dive range. And on top of that, the creme de la creme he offers is his offensive prowess, which is a delightful star hit and Bowser chemistry.
Yeah, I think that obviously those are very important things. Paratroopa has this good thing about him that not a lot of other characters do, where he can play a lot of positions very reasonably. He can play left field, center field, right field, corner bases, and a good catcher. You don't get characters that can do it all like that. Which just like is it's a plus for any character. Like you're gonna have a Toadsworth where it's like, oh my god, where do I put this guy? But Paratroopa is a good character. His offense is great, and he always is gonna have a position in your field.
Yeah, for sure. He's got Bowser chem, which is very strong. You put him at catcher, having laser home with chem is really, really strong. And he's got a very strong bunt, which is very relevant. So I think that's a very good thing. His slap it's all right, but his star hit is always going to be there as long as he got 1 star. So that's definitely a big factor. And he has a very strong arm, making him a good outfielder.
Joey topped it off with that great bunt. You can get it for hits. Doesn't have to be a glitch bunt at all. And Chem with the good arm, super jump. What's not to like?
Coming in at number 11, moving up 6 spots,
Wow.
the highest jump that we've seen this high up on the tier list. It is Green Dry Bones. At the beginning of the season, everyone was like, okay, Green Dry Bones, he's got a star hit, but he leaves a little bit like to be desired in the field and stuff, blah, blah, blah. We figured out, especially that people have been getting better at fielding and stuff. Okay, wait, this guy has an amazing star hit. He rips it right down the right field line through the second and first baseman, and it's an incredible star hit. It's very often hit for 2, and you can score at least 2 runs off it, depending on your base situation. He has a great star hit. The only reason that he's not in the top 10 is because of those poor fielding stats. He does have a sliding catch, which makes him a fine second baseman, but his arm leaves a lot to be desired, where it's harder for him to play an outfield position effectively.
Yeah, for sure. And his slap hit is actually very good as well. We've realized that it's definitely usable. It's probably the best out of all the star hitters if you don't have a star and you don't include Toadsworth because he's just Toadsworth. Being so slow, he is a very slow character. I think 3 speed. Having sliding catch kind of makes up for it in the infield, but the more we realize that batting is the most important, the less fielding's going to matter. So I will take a strong batter with mediocre fielding any day of the week.
To piggyback off both Nick and Joey, I think the slap hit's really forgivable. He swings through pitches where you're like, oh, maybe I didn't hit that nice. And his star hit's really good. And he has Bowser Chem and sliding catch. And like they all said, I think he's right where he should be. I'm really happy to see him move up 6 spots.
Same. I think it's the best star hit in the game out of the ones that are, not a freaking egg or a rocket or a banana. It lands right where you want it to. And the fact that if you don't have a star, you're not like, oh no, what do I do? You just go, okay, I'll hit a single anyway. Like, it's just delicious. Thank you, Bones.
And
thank you.
All right, now moving on to our top 10 characters in the game. Quick note, since Season 5's tier list, these 10 characters have made up the top 10. There has been some movement among them, but none of them have left this top 10 threshold. So, moving down 3 spots, but barely holding on, we've got Madge Koopa. I'm honestly not going to say I'm surprised to see such a big move from Madge, because I think he was a little overrated before, but he is a very strong character, belongs in this top 10. He's very tall and has his ranged dive. He's got magical catch, which is very strong. When you put him on third base, his just vertical reach is so insane that he'll catch so many things that other characters won't even come close to getting to. And then you just look at his batting. He's got a great star hit, which I personally think is the best star hit, but it's all opinions. He's got a great slap hit, and he's got a great chemistry. I mean, that he does everything that you need a character to do in this game.
Best third baseman in the game, best first baseman in the game because of that magical catch. And I think the star hit is the easiest to land because you really don't have to direct it. It can get over the first, third, second, shortstop, not even trying to aim it. I'm really sad to see him move down 3 spots, but he's still in the top 10. I think Madge is almost going to be picked within your first 5 picks any single draft.
For sure.
My favorite thing about Madge is he's one of the only characters in the game that no matter what color you have, you got a good character.
Just don't pick yellow. No reason to.
There's no reason to, but at least he won't be garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a note about this top 10 that I think we all agree on. Everyone that's in this top 10, I don't think will ever move from this because they all offer so many powerful and unique things that nobody else below them does, that I think this will probably be the solidified top 10 for at least a really, really long time. Everybody here does something so powerful and unique that I think it'd be hard, almost impossible for anyone below this to crack into the top 10.
Moving up 1 spot at pick 9 is Toadsworth, the godfather of baseball. The best singles bat in this game, I think, is not something to slouch on, and has a really good star hit, is a great center fielder because of Joey. Have you said he has a big hitbox?
Yes. He's the same size as Toadette and Toad. They're very large characters.
Big hitbox, so can play center field. You're not going to get fielder swapped. And I think this is a great spot for Toadsworth. I love him very much.
He's also got those hands that are covered in glue. I mean, that's another big benefit to playing him at center field. You also probably play him like first for a similar thing. And on top of all of that, I mean, you've got that star hit option. You don't need to use it. But like, if you're like, dang, I need this hit to go through, it's crazy that the best singles hitter in the game has an option to make his hit better. It's whack. And
Ridiculous.
Also, he's a good relief pitcher.
Yeah, the thing that you're going to be looking for in a lot of these upper echelon characters, they do one thing really, really well, or they have a lot of really strong options. Toadsworth can reliably get singles with his regular bat, and he can reliably get doubles with his star hit. So it just leaves you like, it's a buyer's market. Is that what they call it?
So Toadsworth, I think, is really strong at the plate, obviously, for the reasons we mentioned. He has a great singles bat, the best in the game. He's got a great star hit. But another big feature is that his bat is small. So you will often swing through bad pitches and not make bad contact with the ball, which gives you basically another shot to hit the ball. And even he's a very rare character to find bad contact with. He very often hits it above the infielder rather than right at them. But he does have a slight dead zone, but you're less likely to hit it than with, say, a character with a normal bat where you can get jammed. Can't get jammed with Toadsworth.
Yeah, if you're pushing the ball and it's in the air, it's most likely landing in right field.
For sure.
Coming in at number 8 is the king of the boos, King Boo. This guy is a home run hitter. You'll see a lot of them from this point forward. They're very good. They hit the ball over the fence, causing runs to be scored. It's how you win the game.
It's weird.
But on top of that, he is one of the best corner basemen because he's got super jump and he's a chonky. And he's got a slap hit that's pretty okay as long as you're not hitting fouls, but those aren't bad hits. And he's got a good charge hit that when it doesn't go out, it doesn't go foul, could land good. And he's got a star hit that when it doesn't go foul, it lands good. The only issue is it do be going foul a lot.
Yeah, a thing about King Boo, and you'll see all of the rest of his partners for this coming up, he makes up one of the strongest infields you could possibly have in the game. King Boo third, Donkey Kong shortstop, Birdo second base, Petey first base. It's a ridiculous chemistry tree with amazing arms all around, and he makes up that third base spot. And once again, this is a character with that buyer's market thing I was talking about. He has so many options that just make him really, really good.
Yeah, I think a big thing to mention about King Boo is that he hits home runs to both left and right field. So more often than not, you'll see a right field wall jumper, but you don't really see him in left field. So just the fact that he has that versatility that also another home run hitter has that we'll get to later, it's just very relevant in my opinion. And one thing that I don't think he's better at third than Magikoopa is, but one thing that he does have over Madge is that his arm is stronger. So he'll make some plays that Madge might not make because of his weak arm.
I love King Boo. I think having the option to go for a homer or go for a slap hit is really nice because there's times where you just want to win that star chance and just maybe extend the inning into a one-star hitter. I think you have that option with King Boo. Also, of almost all the heavies, I think KB probably gets robbed the least amount by wall jumpers because of how fast the ball gets out and the trajectory. Yeah. So I think if you really do want to neutralize and not have maybe someone like a Joey wall jump you every single play, King Boo might be a better option than some of the other heavies.
Coming in at number 7, moving up one spot from last season's tier list, is Petey Piranha. This guy is one of those guys that just does one thing really crazy.
Yeah.
At least at bat anyways. He hits home runs. If he's not hitting home runs, he just like flies out pretty much. He rarely hits the ball foul. He always puts it in play. He hits the wall sometimes for great gappers. But besides that, you're either, scoring runs with his home run, you're hitting the wall, or you're just getting out. He does make up that really good infield that I was talking about before, and he is the best catcher in the game.
Yeah, I think PD can actually move up a bit. I think he's the best home run hitter after Bowser. His only detriment is that if you jam him, he's going to pop out every time, while there is another character that we'll get to where that doesn't really happen. So there's one argument in that case, but he is the best catcher, like Nick said. He is the strongest arm in the game, the only 100 power arm out of anyone. And he also has a position in the field, which is pretty relevant for a power hitter, in my opinion, because a lot of them kind of don't really find a place.
He is the second best homer hitter in the game, like Joey said. The thing with Petey is that he doesn't have options. It's home run or go home. And I personally, as a player...
That's the same thing, Dennis.
Yeah. Well, personally, I like having the option to hit a slap hit because there's times you don't always want it. But I cannot argue Petey is the second best homer hitter in the game and has really good chemistry with Birdo and DK at first and at catcher. And I think Petey could even be higher on this tier list.
I also think one more thing to mention for Petey is that he's very large at the plate. So he kind of hangs over the plate even. So it's very easy to accidentally walk Petey. All right, so moving on to our number 6 character. No movement from last tier list. We've got Birdo. Birdo is a very volatile character. You're either going to have the greatest star hit you've ever seen in your life, or you're going to get double played. There's really no ifs, ands, and buts around that. That's just, those are your outcomes. Her slap hit is not great. It's not bad. It's very, very middle. It's kind of like Luigi's in my opinion. However, in the field, her chemistry is ridiculous. Just having PD chem even, I don't know if that's ridiculous, but it's very good.
And Yoshi.
And just having the range of her suction ability at shortstop or second base is unrivaled almost, other than Yoshi. So it's very strong. She has a great spot in the field. She's got a great place at the plate. When you have her as your captain for 1-star Birdo egg ball, it's just absolute insanity.
I really like non-captain Birdo batting in that 6 to 8 range because I think the star is worth 2 and you don't always have to use it. But when you're batting her high in the lineup and she's your captain, you pretty much have to use it every time. And sometimes you just don't want to. But I think this is a great spot for Birdo, like you said. Suck, everything. She's very, very, very good. At the number 5 spot on this tier list with no change is Boo. Boo, in my opinion, is the best pitcher in this game, not just because Boo can pitch, but Boo has a really good bat. Can hit doubles without a star, I think is really good for any lineup construction, and does have chemistry. So if Boo does happen to get tired, or maybe you just want to go with Diddy captain and pitch with Diddy, you could still play Boo at a corner spot if you really feel like it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much more else to say about Boo. Dennis nailed it all on the head. The only thing I'm going to bring up is that Boo and Birdo were like tied, just much like Gnocchi and Mario were earlier. And it took 2 removals of the top and bottom spots to get Boo to just beat Birdo. But I think it's important that he did.
I think it's the right place.
So I don't know if there is like the non-believers out there that are like, okay, Boo's like kind of whack. I don't know. I don't like his pitching. For one, even if he pitches a little bit worse than Diddy Kong, his bat's just way better. Think about it like this. Boo has a star hit and doesn't need to use a star to do it.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. He's one of the best. He's the best contact hitter in the game, right? Like, ridiculous.
We say that Toadsworth has the best singles bat. Boo
Boo has the best doubles bat.
the best slap hit.
Absolutely insane character.
Yeah, and like Dennis said, you could throw him in first base, get the King Boo at third base to Boo chemistry if he's tired or if you want to put someone else in. So he's got options as well.
Yeah, it's wild that you can pick Boo and be like, I'm not even going to pitch with him.
Yeah.
He's just that good offensively.
It's insane.
Coming in at number 4, also where they resided last season, is Bro. Bro's a really unique character because I think he's one of the only ones that, like, when you're picking your favorite flavor of Bro, you're actually making a very specific choice that has a different outcome, because you have Hammer Bro, who is like one of the freest home run hits. It makes that home run hit a little more free than your other bros, but you lose out on the ability to really try and do anything else. You're just going to hit a home run. Whereas with Boomerang Bro, your home run's going to be a little harder to hit, but you also have the opportunity to go for a star hit or a slap hit. So he's a pretty incredible offensively. On top of that, he's got Bowser Chem. So he's not great in the field, but you can just put him on first, put him on catcher because his arm's not that bad. And Fire Bro's got sick flames on his bat.
Yes, he does. Here's my philosophy about the bros and when you should pick them. So Hammer Bro should be on the Birdo team, or if you're planning on using a lot of stars during your game, because Boomerang Bro needs the stars like the least out of like any character that can use stars. You're mostly not going to go for it, but it's nice to have him around sometimes. If you're playing someone like a Birdo captain, you're just not going to have him around as often. So that's where you want your Hammer Bro optimally. And then on like the Bowser team, you can have more of a Boomerang Bro situation. I'm not saying that I do that. I pick Hammer Bro every time because it's easier to hit with him. Optimally, that's what I think in my head.
Yeah, I think Boomerang Bro is objectively the best. I do. I can understand wanting to pick Hammer when you need more stars in your team. That definitely makes sense. But just having the option as Boomerang Bro, when in my opinion, he can still hit home runs just as easily as Hammer. It's just you have to be a little more precise, but his power is still there. And a big factor is, similarly to King Boo, he hits to all fields. So you can ignore basically wall jump and right field altogether if you just hit the ball to left field. Or you can hit to center field. While with Hammer Bro, he's a pull hitter, so you kind of have to hit it to right field. Again, it is really just preference. Having a slap hit and a star hit that are both very strong, it gives you the versatility options. But overall, Bro's a pretty good character. He doesn't have a position in the field, which is why I think maybe PD might eclipse him at one point, because PD does have a position in the field, but Bro is definitely very strong.
Options. Yeah. That is what you get with Boomerang Bro, and Home Run Dinger City Dinger is what you get with Hammer Bro. I think they're both great characters. And I think the fact with Boomerang Bro is that you can hit the ball to center, left, and right. It doesn't have to be perfect contact. As a pitcher, if I'm versing a Boomerang Bro and I say, oh, I want him to go to right field, it's a homer. If I want him to pull the ball, it's a homer. Like, there's nothing I could really do as a pitcher besides just throw it as best as I can. And I think because of, again, the KB trajectory, it's going to get robbed the least amount of almost any home run hitter because it does go out really quickly. And another thing with Boomer is that he doesn't make contact. And if he does, and if it's not good contact, he'll foul it off. A lot of people don't like the fouls, but if you're fouling a ball, it means you haven't timed the pitch right. And if you're not timing the pitch right, it's better to be foul than to be an out. It's better to swing through it than to be an out. And I think he gives you a lot of feedback during the at-bat. And that's why I love Boomerang Bro very, very much.
Coming in at number 3, moving down a spot from last season, is the Swiss Army knife of Mario Superstar Baseball. Donkey Kong does it all. He's got a great slap hit that lands for singles. He's got an excellent star hit that lands for doubles and scores like everybody you have on base pretty much. He's got a charge hit that can make nasty home runs. That's just, I'm pretty sure he can bunt good too. I haven't tried it, but it's
I think
things
he
I've
can.
heard.
He's good, Poppy.
Which is ridiculous. As well as he's a great center or middle infielder. He has a good dive range. He's gigantic, so his jump plus just being Donkey Kong, it latches him onto a lot of balls and makes it very easy to catch. And he has laser. He's so good. This character is so good.
Yeah, I mean, Nick pretty much said it all. DK does everything you need him to do. I honestly think he'll probably move back into that second spot eventually. I think he kind of caught a bad break this time around. If you watched our playoffs, you saw tons of DK dingers and tons of DK star hits that were incredible. So absolutely incredible character. Not much else to say in my opinion.
To quote the second best player in the world, the first day I ever met him, DK is what Mario should have been. Nicholas, the god. He does everything. He does everything. He does absolutely everything you need.
I don't think Nick does that much.
Yeah,
I kind of do. Anyways, DK, he's bananas, man.
Big monkey.
Yeah. All right. So in our number 2 spot, a character that moved up 1 spot, eclipsing DK, we've got Yoshi. Oh man, what a character. Unrivaled outfielder in left and center. He catches things that no other character could think of catching. He's got a good star hit in his egg. It's a pretty consistent single. I'd say maybe 75% of the time you're going to get a base hit with potential for a little extra bonus eggage if you
extra.
A little extra if you get lucky. So there's always that. Plus his slap hit's great. His speed is the highest in the game, tied with Toadette. I mean, that's all I got for him.
Yoshi, what we really saw in season 7 was his egg be pretty dang good. It gets on, and the only person that really maybe negates it is Fat Cheeks DK. Yoshi is really good in left, really good at second, really good at short. You can really just move Yoshi around anywhere on the field. I'm curious to see if we do like a rules change the following season to see how much Yoshi's utility will come into play because of pausing and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe.
But Yoshi has a good singles hit, can play anywhere on the field, has tongue.
Yeah, the only reason that I personally, on my personal tier list, had Yoshi number 1, then I bumped him down a little for make room for the actual number 1 character, is because I think if we were playing to a competitive nature, and it's something you see Nick do sometimes, where like every at bat you're gonna move Yoshi where he optimally should be. If we did that, if everyone did that, and then we didn't immediately ban the concept of doing that, I think he would just be the best character in the game. You'd never land anything. It would just never happen. But
So
none of us
runs.
do that because it's like, it's bad content.
Yeah.
But like if you're playing, like if you're just sitting down, you don't care about the people at home, and you just want to stop everything from landing, you just put you look at who's up at bat and you go, yeah, I'll play Yoshi here. And it would change everything.
I think that Yoshi is actually on the next tier list going to go down. I just want to say this right now, just because everybody is getting so much better at hitting and landing the ball where you want it, where you see Yoshi in left just not getting stuff sometimes because it's hit just in that perfect spot. Defense is trending down. Offense is trending up.
And not changing at all. The number 1 player in Mario Superstar Baseball, it's Bowser. Bowser, the most forgiving bat in this game. Anything thrown inside as a ball can hit him. Anything thrown inside that you swing at is a swing and a miss. You get an extra 2 chances to make contact. Anything thrown off the plate, Bowser can still make contact with and pull over the fence. It is not even fair. Bowser hits home runs like DK and Toadsworth hit singles. It's not even fair. And Bowser has a pushback star hit. So even if the ball gets caught in right field, I've seen this happen with bases loaded. I've seen the character get pushed to the wall and score 2 runs from second base. He's amazing. He has laser. He can play third. He can play first. You can put him on the infield if you think there's a ball going into the outfield and you want to cut it off, throw that laser home. He can play catcher. The only thing he can't do is pitch. And who's pitching with Bowser?
I think Dennis just about covered it all. The dude hit A, go brrr, the quote Gil from last tier list.
That
right?
sounds about right.
Bowser wins games.
Bowser wins
It's on the
games.
belt.
It's on the belt.
I think that Bowser is easily not the most controversial in the game, but has the most controversy. I know that sounds weird for a second, but think about it. We have shaped every single draft rule since before any of these fuckers were in the club around this stupid character, and we still don't know how to get him nerfed because he's still so good even when he needs to be your captain with the Nolan draft.
There's a reason he's called Barry Bonds of Mario Baseball. You walk or you pitch him. He comes up to the plate. Sometimes he's a free base runner. You put him in your first or second or third spot, and you just have a free base runner or two, depending on what happened before, for your next power hitter or for your Birdo or your DK or whatever you want. It's just he has such value in that spot. I think he deserves his own tier in this game. I don't think there's ever a character that will eclipse him. I think the idea that any character below him right now would ever even come close to passing him is absolutely ridiculous. And there's no one that will ever usurp Bowser in this game.
He's the only character that gets walked consistently at least once a game on purpose.
I've seen
no
Bowser,
no other character gets that kind of reputation where, oh, this guy's up, I'm going to walk him.
I've seen him walk 6 times in one game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it. That is our final Season 7 tier list. We'll put the entire thing up on screen right now. Boo! And as we said in the beginning of the video, this is where the montage of other tier lists would start. So here they are, bobbity boo.
So that is going to do it for our collective Season 7 tier list. And you're thinking, wow, this video is like way shorter than the last one you guys did. Like, what's the deal? You left out a lot of stuff. Well, welcome to Tier List Week, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have 5 more tier lists come out throughout the week about Mario Superstar Baseball. Kicking off tomorrow, we're going to have, I don't think we decided the order yet, but I'm deciding it right now. We're going to do like bats, the bat tier list, and then outfielders tier list, middle infielders tier list, corner infielders tier list, pitchers tier list. There's not going to be a catcher's tier list because that'd be really stupid.
Captain's tier list.
Captain's tier list and one special tier list on Sunday.
Ooh.
That I don't think any of you guys not in the club knows about yet.
I don't think so.
So I'm really excited for that one. I edited that video, so it's going to be really exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to support us and if you want to submit a tier list for us next season to talk about, we have a Patreon. Anyone who was able to submit a tier list was the $10 level and up. But if you're interested in supporting us at any level, we have 4 different tiers. We have 5 different tiers.
Thank you.
And
Nice.
I suggest giving them a look-see. There's a lot of awesome benefits. And honestly, I've looked at some other channels like Patreons and stuff. I think we do a lot more than like most other channels.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
And like you could just hop in voice chat and we'll just pop in and be like, what's going on? And you don't even have to be a patron for that. Discord link down below.
Like, comment, subscribe, share, the bell.
Whoa.
You can click all of those and that'd be pretty sick.
All right, everybody, that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much for watching. And one time together, 3, 2, 1,
Dinger City out.